We all know Britney Spears as a singer and songwriter. She is often even referred to as the Princess of Pop, and is credited with influencing the revival of teen pop during the late 1990s and early 2000s. But she had one of the most shocking meltdowns in celebrity history. She showed up to a closed salon in 2007, and the owner opened the shop just for her. When Spears asked to have her head shaved, the owner refused, so Spears did it herself. And then days later, she attacked a paparazzi's car with a green umbrella, as the photographers documented the whole thing. There were also other incidents during this same time period that included driving with her infant son on her lap to evade paparazzi, and refusing to return her sons to their father, Kevin Federline, until police intervened. She also lost custody of her kids when the court determined that she was not fit to parent, and was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. Her life and career was then placed into further chaos when her father was assigned as her conservator, which lasted up until 2021. Tom Cruise began acting in the early 1980s and made his breakthrough with leading roles in Risky Business and later Top Gun. He has largely starred in science fiction and action films, firmly establishing himself as an adrenaline junkie, often performing his own risky stunts, while also being one of the world's highest-paid actors. Cruise was on top of the world on May 23, 2005, when he visited Oprah. He was there to promote his film War of the Worlds, but it quickly became more about his love life. When asked about his relationship with Katie Holmes, Cruise proceeded to stand up on the couch and then jump up and down repeatedly, extolling the virtues of being in love. The audience may have thought it was awesome, but home viewers got completely spooked, and his public image took a hit. Somehow he has persevered, and his star seems to be shining brighter with each passing year. But when it comes to his personal life, between Scientology and relationships that send his head spinning, he seems a bit crazy. Farrah Fawcett rose to international fame when she played a starring role in the first season of the television series Charlie's Angels. And let's not forget about her iconic red swimsuit poster that sold 6 million copies in its first year in print. But she had America talking when she appeared on Late Night with David Letterman in 1997. She seemed to be on drugs based on how she was acting, and she was very thin, with her veins protruding from her arms, which had viewers questioning her health. She giggled for no reason and told stories without completing them. Then she became fascinated by all the shiny lights on the New York skyline facade, sitting behind Letterman. It made for good television as she claimed she was just having fun and was not on drugs. America begged to differ, but regardless, she was still considered a beloved pop culture icon, and she was highly admired up until her death in 2009. Charlie Sheen has been on the big screen since the 1980s, appearing in films such as Lucas, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Platoon, Wall Street, and Young Guns. He then starred as Charlie Harper on the CBS sitcom 2.5 Men, and was the highest-paid actor on television at the time, earning $1.8 million per episode. But his personal life has made headlines, including reports of alcohol and drug abuse, and marital problems, as well as allegations of domestic violence. In early 2011, the actor had the most public meltdown that resulted in him being fired from his hit show 2.5 Men. He was seen on a Beverly Hills rooftop, drinking what he called tiger blood and brandishing a machete. Then he signed up for Twitter, and within a week had 2 million followers. He was credited with making the hashtag winning trend for quite some time. The actor had porn star girlfriends and even had his father, Martin Sheen, publicly worrying about the health of his son. He admitted that he was on Charlie Sheen drugs that would kill a normal person, and he would go on to later blame it all on steroid use. Years later, in 2015, fans learned that Sheen had tested HIV positive, and this was something he found out around the time of his public meltdown. Mariah Carey is a singer, songwriter, record producer, and occasional actress. She's an influential figure in pop music, with hits of her own and collaborations with other artists. She has also been dubbed the Queen of Christmas for the enduring popularity of her holiday song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. But in 2001, she showed up on the set of MTV's TRL to promote her new film, Glitter. She muttered something about rainbows, started to strip off her clothes, and then passed out popsicles to an excited yet confused audience, including host Carson Daly. This entire episode was not planned by her publicist or the movie studio. Carey was on her own with the ice cream idea. "If you don't have ice cream in your life, sometimes you might go a little crazy," she stated. Then she proceeded to read a love letter to Daly from her mother. It just got more weird as the minutes went on. By the time her visit was over, she had made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Carey then went on to check herself into a hospital for exhaustion. Robert Downey Jr. worked with many of the actors that were labeled as the Brat Pack during the 1980s, with movies like Weird Science and Less Than Zero. But the 1990s would be a tough time for Robert Downey Jr. Although he is known for being the star of the Iron Man movies, he was also a drug addict that jeopardized his entire career during the 1990s. Director Jodie Foster caught him doing cocaine on the set of her movie Home for the Holidays and begged him to get help. He didn't, and spiraled out of control until a neighbor came home one fateful evening and he was sleeping in their bedroom, heavily drugged. He was in court for violating his parole and revealed that he had been a long-running drug addict. He spent 15 months in state prison, then over a year in rehab. Downey relapsed once again, and the spiral continued, but he managed to avoid more jail time. By the mid-2000s, he had sobered up, and his acting career recovered, which started his ascent to become a bona fide movie star that pulls in big bucks and makes blockbuster movies. Winona Ryder was a 1980s and 1990s it girl. She starred in cult classics like Lucas, Heathers, Beetlejuice, and Edward Scissorhands, all of which she had under her belt by the time she was 19. She continued to work, but the roles slowed down after she turned 30. Hollywood couldn't seem to figure out what to do with her anymore, despite her role in the Oscar-nominated film Girl Interrupted. In 2001, she was arrested for shoplifting over $5,000 worth of merchandise from Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills, while also carrying a reported 8 different kinds of prescription medications in her purse. It played out like a made-for-TV moment, with the rich kid who feels ignored getting caught stealing. She was convicted of felony grand theft and vandalism, but was acquitted for the burglary charge. She escaped jail time, but was given probation, fined, and ordered to do community service. She also was required to have drug and psychological counseling. Since then, she has stayed out of trouble, and her career has gotten back on track. Michael Richards, better known as Kramer from Seinfeld, was one of the most beloved character actors working in Hollywood. When Seinfeld ended in 1998, Richards returned to stand-up comedy. He incited controversy in 2006 after a video was obtained by TMZ of him performing at the Laugh Factory. It happened when a black man sitting in the crowd with some friends heckled the actor while he was doing his stand-up comedy routine. He is heard making an overtly racist comment that seemingly has to do with black slavery in the U.S. He then began repeating the N-word numerous times, with some in the crowd shocked at the outburst, while others were heard laughing. Some in the audience then began to walk out, and the clip of his meltdown made the rounds on the internet. Shortly after, he went on an apology tour, which included appearing on The Late Show with David Letterman, while his former co-star Jerry Seinfeld was a guest. The fact of the matter was that Jerry Seinfeld asked Richards to appear, so that he could then try to make amends. Anne Heche is known for supporting roles in movies such as Donnie Brasco and 6 Days, 7 Nights, but events in her personal life often upstaged her acting career. From 1997 to 2000, she was in a high-profile relationship with comedian Ellen DeGeneres. Immediately following their split in 2000, she had a highly publicized psychotic breakdown in which she appeared at a random house outside of Fresno, California. She was found disoriented, confused, and it was believed that she was on drugs. She claimed to be an entity named Celestia, who would take humanity to heaven in a spaceship. In 2001, she published a memoir titled Call Me Crazy that alleged extensive childhood sexual abuse by her father. Later, there would be even more conversations around her mental health following her death. On August 5th, 2022, Heche was critically injured when she crashed her car into a house at a high rate of speed, and she died days later. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and maybe even consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching this playlist, and then visit the channel to search the Recollection Road Library. As always, thank you so much for watching.